What's going on, guys? This is Matt Janella here at ABB Robotics in Auburn Hills, Michigan. Here with Matt Conklin, Welding Applications Engineer, ABB Robotics, and Mr. Tom Graham, Key Accounts Group Manager for Abicor Binzel. We're going to talk about ABB Robotics and Abicor Binzel and the collective symbiosis between the two companies for welding automation. Matt, I want to ask you a little bit about ABB Robotics. Tell me what's new for ABB for your arc welding robots.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so, these next few years are going to be really, really exciting for us. We've got a lot of great new technology coming out. First and foremost, we have new controllers coming out, whole new design. They have, there's a new compact controller, there's a new rack mount controller, and there's a new full-size controller all coming out here relatively soon. All the release dates and things like that are on ABB's website. But these new controllers are going to be a lot more powerful, a lot more compact, and have a lot more open framework to them on the new robot controllers. So there's a lot of opportunity there to expand into markets that we haven't gone into yet. The other thing is that we're doing a lot with virtual reality. We have a new arc welding power pack on top of the new Robot Studio that we're coming out with. So the new arc welding power pack 2 actually has a lot of capabilities in there with virtual reality. So we can do virtual reality, augmented reality with any of the different types of virtual reality headsets. One of the ones that we use here quite a bit is the Oculus Rift, and we've actually seen that having customers come in and actually get to put a virtual headset on and walk around in a simulated cell and see the robots moving, the parts moving, what the load height is going to be for the operators is a huge advantage in the future.
That sounds really cool. It really sounds like what you guys are gearing towards is tomorrow's sort of welding automation and how people are getting into the workforce now in manufacturing.
Right, exactly. So factory of the future, that is really where it's at with us.
Nice, awesome. I want to ask you one more question before I move it over to Tom. Tell me what it is about that makes ABB Robots unique and differentiates them in the marketplace, in your opinion. There's
a few different key points, but one of the huge ones that we really like to boast about is accuracy and repeatability, and that's a huge deal for us. We do that better than anybody else in the market, if you ask me. Some of the other key areas that we do really great on is longevity. Our robots, when you go out into the field, there are many robots out there that are 15, 20, 30 years old, still in production, still running, and they're still very good robots. I think that it gets harder to find people to program those robots at this point, but with the technology advancing and everything. But yeah, and even today, our robots are very robust for industrial use. Cool.
Thanks so much, Tom. Want to move to you. Kind of talk about ABB and Abicor. What makes ABB Welding Robots such a great fit with Binzel's robotic welding solutions?
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to, again, a very nice selection of arms, a strong offering within the arc welding segment, as to where we really operate in. We also have them integrated into a number of their heavier robots for laser welding applications as well. Very high-end controllers, a lot of features and functionality out of there, especially with the integration of the seam tracking sensors. Very solid package from that standpoint. And again, the global footprint. Being a global company ourselves, there's a lot of opportunities from Europe into the Americas and on for us to work together. So it's a really good combination.
Sure, really important, especially in today's manufacturing landscape, between communication and rise of the internet and how communication passes through country to country, language to language. I mean, having that global footprint is obviously really important for companies.
The world's getting smaller when it comes to the business standpoint.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Matt, I want to throw another question your way on ABB. Get more into the applications area. So what are some of the welding applications that you guys are working on that's got you really excited?
There's many things for ABB that's coming up that's really exciting. We're starting to do more and more into TIG welding, automated TIG welding. We're slowly getting into it because we want to do a really great job at the right process, the right applications. We know that there's people out there that have been doing it for quite a few years, but with us, we want to make sure that when we bring this solution to the table, that it's 100% valid and ready to go. So we're doing a lot of critiquing on the back end. So TIG welding, we've done quite a few this year with select customers. so that we can keep a close contact, we can keep interacting with them. So one of the other things that we actually have been getting into also is what we have is called Flex Inspect, which is a 3D vision system used for measurement, metrology. So we're actually taking different pictures of parts and measuring within microns different features on these parts. And that's something that we see is really starting to come to light. We have two different solutions currently. We have a standalone solution where you load your parts. You have a master part, a master program, and some tooling, and you put the part on there and you run it just as if you would a normal cycle. It measures the part, you pull it off, and it says if those features that you have selected were good or not. And then we have an inline solution also that is made for more inline processing that's smaller. Doesn't have as many features and capabilities, but still do a really good job at certain features of the parts as it's being processed.
Across the ABB line, again, there's a lot of activity along the welding torches, the seam tracking sensors, of course, working closely with Matt and the team on some of the various TIG welding solutions. But there's a whole mess of things behind there. It's the whole Industry 4.0 approach is critical to us as well, with getting information and data into the customer's hands. Software suites that are supporting things like our gas saving sensors to our wire feed systems, seam tracking sensors to really help kind of increase throughput and decrease a lot of the rework going on. We're also looking at bringing as well inspection sensors into the market for doing profile measurements and things of that, which comes back to getting data into the customer's hands. So that's the big push, I think, where we're going, of getting more intelligence into the welding process, so people can make good decisions from those pieces of data that they provided.
Let me ask you, what are some of the Binzel product solutions that you think the ABB works especially well with?
Well, obviously the seam tracking sensor. With the way that they manipulate the data, it's a very stable process, been very impressed with that. But we've also worked with ABB across multiple lines and applications in the arc welding side, from peripheral products such as our torch reaming stations to the torch products to laser optics. You know, we're partnered with ScanSonic. We're doing ALO 3s and remote laser welding. So there are customers out there that are using these on ABB robots globally and working very well every day.
You mentioned remote laser welding. ALO 3 is...
It's a tactile seam tracking for laser brazing and for laser welding. So we're actually using the wire to track the joint. Everything's driven through field bus communication through the robot. Very stable process. Thousands of these ALO 3s are out in the market. A number of them still loaded on ABBs.
Where does ABB see the future of robotic welding needs, and how are you guys preparing to meet those challenges?
You know, talking within ABB internally, where we really see the future going is, first and foremost, is offline programming. Offline to online programming, we do an amazing job at. We do a really good job at taking what you program in the virtual environment and getting that into the robot. That used to be very complex. In order to do that, we're working very diligently at simplifying that process. Okay, so we're making it very simple to take that offline program, get it into the robot, and get it as close as possible to what you need in the real world. And how we're doing that is through Robot Studio. So now with the addition, as I spoke before, with virtual reality, it makes it even easier. I mean, I see, you know, guys actually walking around and actually programming welds in virtual reality. You can actually see the robot movement. You can interact with the robot. You can interact with the parts. It gives you that opportunity to be more immersed in the world other than just looking at the flat screen. You know, and so up and beyond that, you know, what we're seeing is just like everything else out in industry, you know, price is key. One of the things that we're seeing more and more is the price of laser, you know, coming down. And as that price of laser comes down, we see more opportunity for others to use it. And so that gives us the opportunity to get more adventurous with it also.
Especially, you know, the laser market, as Matt noted, you know, the cost per, you know, kilowatt has gone down dramatically in the past 10 years. So that, and on top of the adoption of those processes into the U.S. market, have really kind of given a much more prevalent spot in production from, especially additive manufacturing, 3D printing. We're getting into laser hardening and cladding. We're doing brazing. You're doing welding. Absolutely, the evolution of lasers into the production, it's here.
How does Binzel see the future of robotic welding needs, and how's Binzel preparing to address those?
It comes down to information. Again, we talk about the Industry 4.0 and data. It's providing data in around the process. A lot of our products now are going to be coming with their own software suites. So you can do setup remotely with them. You can monitor them offline. Anything from gas flow to wire feeding to the whole gamut of things that we get involved in, and that's what it comes down to: data, data, data. And I think that's going to be the big push for us, of having more intelligent solutions to really help improve day-to-day production.
Great, and I think that's where we have a great relationship with Binzel in the aspect of we're developing very powerful controllers. We have a very powerful controller right now, and we're going into the future with a new OmniCore controller. But as he's saying, the data. The more data we can give the robot, the more it knows, the more it can handle different situations. With our newer powerful controllers, we're going to be able to take more and more, which I think is going to be a huge key factor in the future.
And also just the more open, I guess, these interfaces are between each other, able to talk to one another very clearly and relay that information, and then be able to apply it actually on the in the process itself, right?
Yep, for sure.
Absolutely. And again, the speed of communication, that's another one. That is a critical point of having faster processors and faster ability. We've had issues, again with the TH6, is that you're providing so much data, are the robot controllers able to capture that data and respond accordingly? And it's funny, it's a who's winning the race, and it's just the data flow keeps coming. The robots keep getting faster and faster, and it's no different than PCs or anything else. Evolution. So more data, faster.
What's Binzel working on with ABB that people should be aware of that's got you really excited?
A lot of it comes down, I think the two of the projects we've talked about, one of which is the integration of the seam tracking sensor and really optimizing the ability. With this sensor, we call it a 60 sensor for a reason. We provide X, Y, and Z information along with roll, pitch, and yaw. So there are capabilities with a more open platform to get into the true depth of the data that thing's providing and be able to handle the variations as a part comes. You're not just looking at X and Y or things of that nature. So the ability to handle a little larger data stream, I think, has a lot of opportunities. With TIG welding robotically, it's never been a strong market. People have shied away from it. It's just a matter of having the right tools in the tool bag to do it and do it properly. And I think there's some definitely good opportunity there as well into the robotic TIG. And along with all of the different MIG welding solutions we've been working on with these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, TIG welding definitely is one of those things that have been a hot topic, as of recently. TIG welding is more known as a manual welding. A guy sitting there, welding this on a day-to-day in and out. And these parts can range from, parts that vary a little bit, or parts that are, relatively secure, and repeatable. And those secure and repeatable parts are the ones that we're really looking at, to say, hey, this is a great opportunity, with different torches from Abicor Binzel to utilize and robotically weld these solutions. And the ones that are a little bit more complex, we would look to use a TH6 on them and win some of these applications that normally are done manually.
Sure.
And the nice side is that whether it's an autogenous, i.e. no filler metal, or there is filler metal required, we can help on both sides. So that's one of the nice things about the Binzel TIG torches are the cold wire and hot wire feed capabilities, along with standalone wire feeding solutions. So a lot of good opportunities on that front.
I'm going to stay on this TIG welding for just a second. What are some of the things from an application or industry standpoint where you're really seeing it emerge?
So a lot of the industry that we're seeing right now currently is aerospace. A huge challenge out in industry right now is finding good welders. TIG welding, not as demanding as it is skillful.
It's as much an art as it is a science.
Absolutely, and so it's getting harder and harder to find those guys with that kind of talent. And so a lot of companies are looking to, push for a automated solution in this. And it is a little bit, more difficult than a standard MIG welding because of that art behind it. But, with Abicor, we're finding very good solutions together.
So Matt, I want to talk to you about ABB's data transmission capabilities with other third-party vendors, softwares, and why a feature like that is especially important for today's manufacturing landscape.
Yeah, it's extremely important, to stay on that cutting edge of, what is the newest and latest and greatest. We use a wide range of different power supplies in welding. We use a few different sensors, all these different things that you add on to the robot. We're making it easier and easier to connect to and to push and pull data to and from all these different pieces of equipment. It ranges from the 3D metrology to additive manufacturing, where you have these massive parts where it's literally thousands of points, over a great distance that, we're MIG welding or, what different applications, that we're processing that part with. So, the future in not only our current IRC5 controller, but also our Omnicore controller is going to give us the ability to push that envelope further and further, and we're really excited about that.
What are aspects of Binzel's robotics solutions that ABB particularly likes?
I would say the one that we use the most on a daily basis is the torch cleaning center. It's done a great job. It's very robust, reliable. We use it in many of our flex arc cells. Beyond the torch cleaning systems, the TH6 is a staple in our tracking. When we find hard to track or on the fly tracking that we can't solve with another solution, that's the first thing that we're looking at is, okay, is this a laser tracking opportunity? And usually that is the first one that we default to. We really like the product. It integrates well, and ease of use is important for us in that aspect.
I can point out as well, the integrated solution for mounting to the Binzel torch package makes it easy as well.
And that's key for us, because we want to efficiently, set these robots up, quickly. And Abicor Binzel has done a great job at developing these torch mounts, and it's a standard product for them, which we go back to service, right? If something were to happen to one of these, it is very easy to reach out to an Abicor Binzel rep and have one replaced very quickly.
Well, Matt, Tom, I want to thank you both so much for your time and the wealth of expertise you guys just offered. That was really great stuff. If you have any questions about your automated welding solutions or needs, feel free to contact ABB or Abicor Binzel. With that, this is Matt. I want to thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.